Hey guys, Jeff with Westcott Design. So we were up here in Moab, Utah, and we got to attend an event called Cruise Moab with Toyota USA. We actually have some of their vehicles here behind us that we got to test, and some extreme conditions, climbs, rocks, you name it. It was epic. I haven't quite had a chance to experience some of the stuff with off-roading and the capabilities of some of these vehicles until actually this event. And I will tell you this, that every one of these vehicles, we kind of pushed it to its limits. Matter of fact, we continued over and over and over on some of these obstacles to try to get these vehicles over those obstacles to see if it was even possible to get them over the obstacles. And I'll go around, we'll just do real quick, I'll show you some of these trucks and stuff and what's on them and what we found makes a big difference when doing these. This is actually a test mule from Toyota. This actually has the TRD lift kit in it, the 3-inch TRD lift kit. As you can see, all the damage, I don't know that we got every panel on this truck, but we got most of the panels on this truck covered as far as damage. So you can see how much damage was suffered to the front of the truck on some of these climbs. And I will tell you this, we used a lot of finesse. So it was very slow speeds when we were attempting these, just so we could climb these, make these climbs and see if it was possible to get them over. But this one suffered a bunch of damage here in the front. Actually got the rear quarter panel. We'll walk around the back. The whole rear bumper on this thing's pretty much been knocked off this. This was a stock TRD Pro, so this is basically 1 inch higher than the factory trucks. We actually got this truck hung up on one of the climbs, and because of the long wheelbase and because it's standard height and standard tires, we weren't able to actually keep high centering, and every time we tried to attempt it, it would just keep getting caught up and caught up. And we tried it with a little more speed to a point where we thought, okay, this is max on what we want to put for speed into this without causing damage to something. So just with that difference and the tires being standard, we weren't able to accommodate this truck up over some of the obstacles. This truck here did very, very well. I would say that the Tacomas were very surprising. Just that little bit of distance and the shorter wheelbase being a little bit higher up. This one obviously lifted. It really made a huge difference on getting over and bumper clearance in the front and the rear. This one actually, I don't think suffered any damage, but it did very, very well for what it was. This truck here actually is, got some accessories on it that they've run on this. A lot of these, like I said, they're all test mules, so they'll have different things they'll test on them, they'll see how it works and stuff. This is actually a new TRD Pro with a set of old style wheels on it. This actually has our lift kit actually in it. Has a set of Cali Rays rock sliders on it. I think it's got a Yakima rack on the back of this one. There's a Yakima rack on the back of that one, but this one did really well. There was a thing they call the waterfall, and this one actually had enough clearance in the front, and then even in the back was able to get up and over the obstacles that we had. So, and then super cool, these are some of the regular people that came out to this event this weekend, and these are some of their rigs out back here. This one here, super custom, their camper and stuff. This one here, some of these people actually work for Toyota, so these are their personal vehicles outside of Toyota vehicles that they tend to drive or off-road with. So this one's owned by somebody from Toyota. There's a couple other ones down here I'll show you. There's actually a really cool FJ40 down here. I talked to the original owner of it. He's actually owned it for the last 30 years. So super cool. He's had it since he was 18 years old. So it's he isn't one of those vehicles that he's willing to part with. But there's a vehicle that went out with us, and I will tell you this, it went out with us and there wasn't one obstacle that it couldn't climb. And it literally, all you had to do was let the clutch out of it in first gear and granny gear and 4 low, and this thing would climb anything. So I'll show you that. Here's our vehicle here with some of our stuff. It was very capable, did very well. There was actually a couple things that I was surprised that it didn't do better in. It did well. The rack in the back is what hurt this one the most as far as on its climbs. The FJ40, like we just mentioned, super cool. This one here is owned by one of the engineers for Toyota. He's done a lot of custom stuff with the winch and the lighting and stuff. It's got a V8 in it. It's got actually the Fox suspension in it, the Fox billet upper control arms in it, lockers front and rear. This vehicle pretty much went anywhere we went today. So I know that having a front and rear locker in the future is definitely a big plus, positive thing for that. Now this truck, this is the one I was talking about. This truck here, you literally could let the clutch out of it and it would climb anything. There wasn't anything that it wasn't able to climb. Diesel, it just is a monster. And right-hand drive, these actually are both right-hand drives, which is super cool. They came over from Japan in the last couple of years, and they've been kept right-hand drives, but this thing was unstoppable. So I have to say, if I had the choice and I could do it again, or if I obviously had a vehicle that I would just go out and do crawling and some of the stuff, I think this thing was probably the way to go. All he put on this, Mike put just front rear bumpers on it. I had the lockers already in it and from the factory, and this car was super capable. So these cars, let's walk back over here. As we walked by and looked at these, I was noticing the bumpers and just how much damage they suffer. This exhaust, it was pretty funny. This exhaust actually pinned itself up underneath the car on one of the climbs, and I was like, oh my gosh, and the bumper actually flexed so much, the exhaust was all tucked up in the back of it, and I wasn't even sure that it was even gonna come back out once they got over the obstacle, and it did. It popped back into place. The bumper actually just suffered some scratches on it and stuff, but you can see a lot of the bumpers missing off the back, and you can actually just see how much dirt and mud or dirt that was dragged through the back of this hitch on this truck. Crazy. I mean, it was just trying to make some attempts. The ears even got bent up on the trailer hitch. We tried everything we could to get these cars to go through the obstacles that we tried. This one here, you can see the back bumper's damaged here, but it wasn't able to go over some of the obstacles just because of the height it was at. This one here, it suffered a little bit of scratches here on the back bumper. Nothing major, it was only on that one side. This one here, he attempted to do everything on this one, and it got the rear bumper back here on this one, but I mean, nothing crazy on all these trucks. And it was really cool to get out here and do this with these people, and for them to invite us like this and get to share all these stories and pictures and what we had going on with these guys. So, you know, if you guys ever think of doing Cruise Moab, you should really consider it for next year. I'm definitely gonna be here next year, and hopefully a bunch new and more people will be here next year as well. So again, thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoy it. Take care. Bye-bye.